This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of Movie Reviews Observations number 112. First movie I watched was Flashback, and I'm going to say this to Dylan O'Brien. I liked you in that science apocalyptical movie where you're trying to find your girl and there's all these creatures and stuff. Not this movie where you have dreams of some girl you went to high school with and you're trying to figure out why, and you're going to screw up your current relationship with the girl you're dating, your job, all this other stuff, for you to go find your old high school druggy friends and take this drug called Mercury, and you can go back to the time when you were in high school, or when you're a little kid, or when you're in college. And this movie keeps going back and forth between different time periods, or oh, I'm in the past and I can see into the future, or I'm in the future and I can see into the past, or something like that, and like screwing up his life and then other stuff, and then seeing all the possibilities and chasing after this girl. And it was like, you know what? This was not that great of a movie. I watched it from beginning to end, no falling asleep through it. I was like, yeah, sorry, Dylan O'Brien, this movie was not a good one. Then I watched movie Lansky, and I was really tired, so I fell asleep and rewatched the rest of it. So it's a typical, based on true story about some notorious gangster that Harvey Keitel is, and at least in this one, they have a young guy playing him and not doing the makeup to make him look young, and it was an okay movie. Sam Worthington was pretty good in the movie as well, and it's just like, okay. I only thought the cool aspects were that he was Jewish, and the Jewish mob, and all this other stuff, and all the stuff that to do with Israel and him being Jewish, and I just thought it was interesting, and that the Jewish elements what grabbed my attention, because it's like any other drama that's based on true stories, or like a biopic in a way, where some guy is retelling the story either to you as a narrator or to some guy, and happens to be this writer, journalist guy and stuff. Then the FBI is involved, so it was okay. It wasn't the greatest movie, it wasn't the worst movie. It was one of those average movies where if you got time to sit through an almost 2-hour movie, I would suggest it. Then I watched the movie Lucky, where this woman keeps being attacked every night by the same guy, some creature. She can kill it, stab it, injure it, and it keeps coming back every night. It first starts with her husband there, but then her husband leaves because they have some argument. She's a white woman married to a Middle Eastern dude. She's got a sister-in-law who's in the movie. She's Middle Eastern, and a nephew, whatever. And every night this guy keeps attacking, and the cops don't know what to do. She stays at her sister-in-law's house, and of course sister-in-law gets attacked, and it doesn't matter what happens in the movie. The cops and all the detectives are just bothering her, and the movie ends with her husband coming back, but her husband dying, and then her being attacked by this guy again, and then the movie ends. So there's no resolution, no explanation of why this guy was attacking. There was this whole thing where she was in some sort of lucid dream state where she was being attacked in a parking lot, so was her people she knows, and then other women are being attacked, so it wasn't like her being a bad wife cheating on her husband. She thought it was this whole stupid thing where all these women are being attacked. So I don't know if it was making a statement or something, but it was pretty darn stupid that it just kept happening and happening and happening, and they just show women being attacked in a parking lot, and then her relatives being attacked, and then no resolution, just ends. Boop! She got attacked again, she stabbed the guy, they're wearing this weird mask. I don't know, it was really stupid. I'm glad I fell asleep through the first time, because if I had watched this straight through, I'd been like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. The best movie I watched was Raya and the Last Dragon, because Disney really got the animation correct. They got the idea of friendship, trusting other people who may have burned you in the past, the whole dragon stuff, the whole family and her father trying to save the world by combining the pieces together to save all the world. Daniel Day Kim voiced the father, which was really good. I don't know about Awkwafina. They say she's a musician, she's a comedian, she's an actor, voice actor now. Her voice didn't really fit the dragon. It was a little bit annoying and stuff. But overall, aside of that, I thought this was a great movie. Finished this, start from finish. Fell asleep a little bit. A little armadillo in there. It's a great kids movie. They really hit it on the head here. So, really good movie. The last movie I watched, because I ran out of physical copy, was the movie Zeroville, starring James Franco as this, I guess, guy in seminary who's an architect, and he goes to Hollywood, never seen a movie before, until the year before, and he's building sets. They meet Seth Rogen, who again, they make the movie Seth Rogen and him together, and he helps, and he learns editing from this old lady, and he goes on to work for Will Ferrell, who they don't even list in the main cast until you actually look into it. Danny McBride is in there as a cop for a moment. Craig Robinson robs him twice in the movie. They have Joey King playing a little girl because she's short, but she's 19 when this movie was made, and Megan Fox is the love interest, some young actors. And they make this movie where it's takes place when they were making black and white movies and showing how the film industry works. So unless you're like really into like how they make movies and things like that, and I'm thinking to myself like, wait, this movie came out in 2019, but when you look it up, it says the film was supposed to be released 10 years ago. You know, but then they didn't film till 2014. And then they're like, well, after it's filmed in 14, it's supposed to come out in 15 or 16. But then that company went through bankruptcy. So they finally released it limited capacity in 2019. So you're like, okay, maybe that makes sense why Joey, you know, that little girl is a little girl in the movie, because it was made, you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But basically, this guy goes from nobody who's making sets to making all these movies, and James Franco just plays a weirdo who's got a tattoo on his head because he shaved his head based on a movie he saw. He falls in love for, you know, Megan Fox, and it's just not the world's greatest movie written-wise, where, you know, she dies, he dies, this thing happens, just not really put together. And yeah, and obviously it talks about how his career, you know, all the significant events in the history of 1970 in Hollywood, but, you know, there was Dave Franco was in there, Jackie Weaver. There's just a lot of people that were in this movie that you've seen before, Keegan Allen. So I'm like, yeah. Overall, if you're watching it like on a streaming platform like I did, you know, it's 90-something minutes. It's not that long. It's a really stupid movie, but it's about filmmaking, so I thought it was interesting. It has a bunch of actors you know. It's just not a great movie. But it's not a movie where I'm like, don't ever watch it. It's horrible. So I could say you can watch it. I would not suggest you waste your time with Lucky and Flashback, because there's really no payoff to figure out really what happened, really what's the point of making these movies. The movies that you should sit through are Ride the Last Dragon and Lansky. Thanks for listening to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observations, number 112. For On the Radar Tape Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.